Lately, in various places, we're seeing a lot more evidence of people who abide a spirit of hate. We're seeing it on the social networks. They're the flavor of the day. And especially in heathenism, we're seeing it a lot. Those elements who try to combine heathenism with vestiges of National Socialism and other things. And these people, of course, talk about abiding conflicting views. There's something really wrong there. But also the way they've been attacking verbally those heathens who don't agree with them. You can see the vitriol, and it's more than just name calling. You can see that these people are fueled by hatred. And I've seen with people like that, the hatred makes them, it gives them a difficult time dealing with everyday life because they're no longer dealing with people as of individuals, but they're dealing with good people in their mind and people to be hated, the enemy. And no matter how any one of those groups they consider their enemy, no matter how kind they are, no matter how fair they are, to these people that means nothing. They are the enemy. And so this hatred blinds them to many opportunities for friendship, just for good times, sharing some goodwill, and it's certainly causing us a lot of problem to hear it. A lot of it is stupid. What these people consider an insult to the rest of us has you shaking your head. They like to call people, as a few of them will call people, communists, for instance. There's no communists around anymore like that. They have them in Red China, but the rest of communism went tits up about 20 years ago. They'll call people Jews, which is, first, I don't know why that's really an insult. Jews are fine people. I know, I live in an area where there's a large Jewish population. I can tell you from my own experience. They're like every other people. A lot of them are good, fine people. A lot of them we have as friends, co-workers, even relatives. So I don't know why that's an insult, but to them they think that's a horrible thing to call someone. And in a sense, they really are showing their ignorance doing that too. And there's a whole list of other names, but it's just that abiding hatred. The words you can pass by, but you have a sense of that fire, of that painful fire within. Somebody talked about the Naud rune being need fire. And in the Thor's rune, there's pain fire. And like in the myth, the Jotun's heart, sharp, three-sided, cuts all ways. Well, that's the pain fire that these people abide. So we, who hopefully are intelligent, rational people, need to understand that this hate must be avoided. But by the same token, let's not go to the other extreme. There's people who hate the haters. And after a while, the vitriol is there. The only thing that's different is what they accuse each other of and the names they call each other. Hatred is a horrible place to abide. It poisons lives. It makes people bitter and resentful. It isolates them from the mainstream, because when you got someone full of hate, the only people who want to put up with them after a while are people who share some of their views, are people who, no one else will talk to them, so they'll talk to the hater. And it isolates them from the world. It eats it from within, and it denies opportunities. I mean, there's a lot of good people out in this world, and I've had the pleasure of meeting many good people, throughout my life. I've spent most of my life within 100 miles in New York City. So I don't know, the word they use is diversity. I think multiplicity is a better word. There's just all types of people and basically all trying to do the same thing, just live day to day and get along peaceably. So this hate doesn't really make any sense, but I know myself, if I were to abide in it, it would limit my options of who could be friends, who I could trust, who I could deal with, and who needs that limitation, It's a true fact. Let's be blunt. You don't have to like everybody, but you do have to treat everyone fairly if you're living by your principles. And one thing you can't afford to do is to get into the cycles of hate. It's poisonous. It's toxic. Many of us, especially in my age, back in the 70s when there was a lot of conflict, may have gotten involved in a little of the hatred ourselves. We had a little temporary sojourn, brushed wings with it. But you outgrow it pretty quick. You get to see how ridiculous it is. You know, it's poisoned many lives. And the other thing that goes with it are resentments and grudges. And what these are memories of past misdeeds. But instead of just memories, they have some of that pain fire in them. And people nurse grudges. They review these resentments. And they hold on to it for years. Many times the people they resent don't even know they're being resented. Or many times they would make amends if they had a chance to, to right the wrong. But these grudges do nothing. If someone does you wrong, if someone has harmed you, if you perceive a wrong, you acknowledge it's there. When you're dealing with that person in the future or someone like them, you know this is a possibility, so you prepare accordingly. But don't go sitting, dwelling, and abiding in it. Don't make those people the focus of your life or the focus of your energy. There's very few things in our modern world that warrant vengeance. And there's no need to get into it. What I have found more often than not, if I have a problem with someone, I just walk away and stay away from them. If I get caught up in the vengeance or the resentment thing, all that does is tie me to them and keep them in my life. If I walk away, they're gone. And if they have a problem with me, and they probably do, well, they got to deal with it by themselves because I'm not there. That leaves them with the problem, not me. Think of a tree that's going to fall, and you're holding it up. That's like what's happening when you're caught in a resentment. You're holding up that tree. And if you just walk away, the situation falls of its own. I remember something that happened over 20 years ago. There was a group of Wiccans that we had been friendly with, but the woman who was running that group was always in our faces, wanted us over all the time, trying to become a major part of our lives, and we didn't want that. So we had gone to Norway and decided, while we were there, I remember we had talked about, we got to start shying away from them. They're getting to be a little too intense. And that's what we were going to do when we came, and when we came back, that's what we did. Well, there was an incident where one of her coven members happened to be a friend of ours, and she had done something to this person that we thought were wrong. And my wife went and called her, as a friend and said, look, I think you're making a mistake here. Well, it turns out this woman was someone who could not stand people disagreeing with her. Could not stand that someone might refuse her or disagree. And she listened silently, and then that was it. The next day, we start getting phone calls from her coven people telling us, oh, you don't understand. This is what's really going on. And we're like, what are we getting these phone calls for? What is the point of this? And there was like this flurry of activity there, which we couldn't understand because it wasn't that big an issue. Well, my wife did, I disagree with you. So we decided that at that point, we're not going to respond. And we went our own way and kind of left them behind us. Decided that, that was just not one friendship not worth preserving. So about 2 years later, someone says, oh, you're Uncle Thor. I heard about you. Do you know so-and-so? I says, oh, we knew her years ago. Oh, she claims you were sending spells and fire spells and all. And I've never really been into fire spells that much, by the way. So it was kind of funny because I had never done any of that. But in their own minds, anytime they had an accident, I guess, blame people who they consider inimical to them. So I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, here they are blaming me for things, and I didn't even care. I'm not going to waste my energy like that. You walk away. And that's the lesson. Just walk away. These people, what's in their own heads, don't worry about. Just don't let them live in your head rent-free. And that's why, again, the resentments and stuff we let go. It's all right in this world you have dislikes, especially if someone does you wrong. You're not going to like them. You're not going to want to have anything to do with them, and that's normal. But let's get down to brass tacks here. Dislike or not, there's no cause to poison yourself, to poison your inner self with this kind of nonsense. You really do need to learn to let it go. Again, in this day and age, this world, there are very few things that require vengeance. And if you just want to see how ridiculous vengeance looks, where I used to live, every neighborhood had a few knuckleheads on the block, and they would get into it with each other. And stupid tit for tat things, and then going, they had the courts and pressing charges and all, and over what? And it was usually started over the most ridiculous nonsense, but half the neighborhood's looking at them and shaking their heads. Do you really want to be that? Learn to let go, move on with your life. If people are no good for you, good, they're out of your life. Let them go. You're responsible for the quality of your life. Remember the old French expression, the best revenge is living well. Let's put the brakes to the hate on a wider level and the hate on our own personal level, in our personal lives. Let's get rid of that stuff. Let's learn to live so that we're living a progressive, productive life. Things moving forward, we really don't need the hate. Peace to you. Have a good one. This is Uncle Thor, signing out.